What is up guys, it's Solheim here, back with another Wrath of the Lich King Classic video. Today we are talking about gold farming in Wrath of the Lich King Classic, and basically the point of this video is to highlight the best ways to farm gold in Wrath of the Lich King Classic. I am not going to specifically go into exactly which farms you should focus on doing, rather I'm going to be talking about gold farming in general, as specific examples of where to farm gold won't be relevant until Wrath of the Lich King Classic is actually out anyway. Now before we get into this video, I'm going to say that I've created my own gold making guide for Wrath of the Lich King Classic, which you can literally grab right now by clicking the link in the video description and the pinned comment, and this gold guide contains everything I know about gold making in Wrath. I go through a ton of different gold farming locations, showing you concrete examples of exactly where to farm, and I also show the best gold farms that will be available in Wrath, as well as investments that could help you make thousands of gold. I have poured my heart and soul into this gold guide, and I will keep updating this guide until Wrath Classic comes out, and during Wrath of the Lich King as well, and once you have purchased it, you will get all of the future updates for free. The support on this guide has been absolutely insane so far, and I cannot thank you guys enough, but if you haven't checked it out yet, please consider doing so. Again, the link is down below, and you can also use the code Solheim for 50% off. Okay, number one, we literally can't talk about gold farming in Wrath of the Lich King without talking about Eternals. Farming Eternals will be an actual gold mine, or should I say gold farm, in Wrath of the Lich King Classic. This should come as no surprise, and if you've played TBC Classic, you're already familiar with Primals, and Eternals are basically the same as Primals. Eternals are used in many high-end crafts within pretty much every single crafting professions out there, and will be needed throughout the entirety of the expansion. Different Eternals will be in demand through different stages of the game itself, so for example in Phase 1, you might want to farm Eternal Life, in Phase 2 you might want to farm Eternal Fire, and in Phase 5 you might want to farm Eternal Air. Those are just examples, so, by the way, so don't quote me on that, I literally just pulled those examples out of thin air. The good thing is that in my gold guide I also go through which items you should focus on farming in Phase 1 of Wrath Classic based on which items are in high demand early in the expansion. The bad thing about Eternal farming in Wrath of the Lich King is that this is the go-to gold farming category, and if you ask anyone to show you a gold farming location in Wrath, 99% of them will show you an Eternal farming location. Basically, the knowledge about these farms are already pretty high, and when it comes to gold farming, the less knowledge there is about the farm, the better it is for you. The more knowledge about the farm equals more competition while farming, and also more competition for selling the items, which also leads to undercuts and lower prices, so it's a really compounding effect. The good thing though about Eternal farming in Wrath of the Lich King is that there is literally over 20 different farming locations, of which where you can actually farm Eternals, and I would argue all of them are actually viable. There are of course a couple of locations which are better than others, but then again it's all about how many other people are farming at the location, so if you find a less effective location with less competition, that location might actually become more effective than the quote best locations, if that makes sense. So number 2, Herbalism and mining. This one is pretty boring, but honestly it's incredibly effective, and it's definitely worth talking about. Herbalism will especially be absolutely massive either in Phase 1 or Phase 2, or possibly even both, for obvious reasons such as alchemy, potions, elixirs, flasks, but also inscription. Inscription will be absolutely massive in Wrath Classic, and Inscription needs a bunch of herbs in order to both skill up and craft important crafts, so you best believe herbalists will become rich in Wrath of the Lich King. Mining will also be huge, as blacksmithing, jewel crafting and engineering are the best professions for 95% of raiding classes in Wrath of the Lich King, and those 95% of raiders will want any two of those three professions, and one thing they all have in common is that they are crafting professions based on the gathering materials from mining. We also know from Classic WoW and TBC Classic that there is a massive raiding community in Classic. It's one of the huge reasons a lot of people actually play Classic, and since we have identified that those 3 professions are the best for almost every single raider out there, we know for a fact that mining will be absolutely massive, especially at the start when everyone is skilling up their professions. Number 3, skinning. Skinning also has massive potential in Wrath of the Lich King, as it's another one of those professions with constant demand. In Classic WoW and TBC Classic, skinning was really good at the start and drastically fell off over time, while in Wrath they fixed that part of the problem by allowing you to turn the basic material into the endgame material. Basically, in Wrath you can obtain Arctic fur from skinning with roughly a 1% drop chance, and this is used to purchase patterns with, and is also used in crafting endgame leatherworking gear. Borean leather did I say that right? Borean leather can also be turned into heavy Borean leather, which can be turned into Arctic fur, and you need 6 Borean leather for a heavy Borean leather, and you need 10 heavy Borean leather for an Arctic fur. So basically, you can turn the most basic Wrath skinning material into the high-end Wrath skinning material, which fixes the longevity of skinning. So then, the last gold farming method that we need to talk about, boosting. Boosting will 100% be a thing in Wrath of the Lich King Classic, just like it was in TBC Classic. I guess I shouldn't say 100%, as Blizzard have proved with Season of Mastery that they know what to do in order to prevent it, but I actually doubt they would make such a massive change to Wrath Classic, and I'm going to assume boosting will be a thing. In this case, we have 2 different types of boosting. We have Paladin boosting and Mage boosting. Paladins excel at pulling huge amounts of mobs, relying massively on gear, dodge, block and absorbs, and you need at least one specific trinket, which you can actually get right now in TBC Classic, which will be very useful for boosting in Wrath, which is the figurine of the Colossus. In addition to that, you also have a brand new trinket in Wrath, the Essence of Gossamer, which is also really useful. Mages, on the other hand, rely a lot less on gear and more on line of sight, and it's proven that both Paladins and Mages are able to boost classes all the way from level 10 to level 70 currently in TBC Classic. For Wrath of the Lich King, both classes receive multiple buffs, making them even better for boosting. Paladins get more DPS and more survival, plus a whole new trinket that helps them out a lot, and Mages can now crit with their Blizzard ability in Wrath, increasing their damage with their Blizzard ability by an actual ton. We also have a new level bracket in Wrath, the level 70 to 80 bracket, and there could potentially be some boosting happening in these brackets. I think really good geared Paladins will be able to do or boost some normal Wrath dungeons eventually, and Mages could do the same as well. Mages obviously rely more on not taking damage, as well as clever line of sight mechanics like they currently use in Shadow Labs, and the dungeon layout in Wrath does make that a little bit difficult, but personally I would not be surprised if there was some mage boosting shenanigans in Wrath of the Lich King Classic, as well just like it was in TBC Classic. And now that you made it this far, or to the end of this video, now is a good time to remind you of the title of this video, as I think a lot of people, or some people at least, wonder why I left out crafting and playing the auction house. So once again, these are just the methods of farming gold specifically, not making gold in general. So yeah, that is pretty much it guys, my first actual gold farming video for Wrath of the Lich King. Hopefully you enjoyed it, there's a lot more coming later down the line. Once again, make sure you check out the gold guide as well, which contains a bunch more gold making information. If you enjoyed the video, please take the time to give it a thumbs up, and subscribe for more WOTLK videos. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you again very soon.